I do know what's going on with John Cena's retirement tour because the last 8 dates have now been announced. We are kicking things off tonight in Chicago, then Raw in Springfield on September 15th, then WrestlePalooza, Crown Jewel, another Raw in Boston, another Raw in MSG, then Survivor Series, and then his retirement match at the Saturday night's main event. And I have to say, I am really disappointed. Because how on earth are you going to have him on no Raw or SmackDowns to build up to his retirement match? I'm going to be honest, it looks like they cram most of his appearances into the first few months of this retirement tour, because at the end of it, well, I mean, basically, it's emptier than a fridge when you come back from vacation. It is just a complete and utter joke. I can't get my head around in what universe having no Raws or SmackDowns to build up to your retirement match is a good idea. I also can't understand a world in which you don't hype up your last SmackDown appearance as your last SmackDown appearance until the day of the show. Surely you should be hyping that up a week at least in advance to make sure people tune in. They didn't do this. Basically, this entire retirement tour seems like they're just making it up as they go along. Heel turn, face turn, I don't know. What do we feel like on the day? Raw, SmackDown, I don't know. What do we feel on the day? Is he retiring? Is he not retiring? I don't know. But I do know Clark has some thoughts on that. What's your thoughts, Clark?
Well, yeah, I've had previous thoughts on that, and a lot of what you just mentioned is why I'm relatively confident this isn't actually the end. It's going to be close, maybe. He's going to work these dates, and it's going to feel like it's his retirement match when it happens. For a second, we'll all feel that way, and everyone will go, look, Clark was wrong. And then I won't be. And there's no doubt in my mind about it. This isn't the end, because it's also just been completely, like you said, wishy-washy, flying by the seat of your pants, whatever you're feeling that day. There's no reason he doesn't make promo appearances on SmackDowns or Raws. I don't care what it is along the way during this final 8-date run. He doesn't have to wrestle every time. Cut a promo, send in a video. I don't know, right? Like, do a vignette. It's something. At least give the fans something in these arenas, because a lot of people also, and they're still going to sell the Cena retirement tour merch at these events. A lot of people, like you mentioned, Dez earlier, saved up to get tickets, or not even before the show. That was during this show, but saved up to get tickets to go to an event to see Cena on his retirement tour. And yeah, you can go and get the merch, but he's not going to be there the way this is advertised. And it doesn't make any sense to me. And that's why I stand by what I said on the original Wrestling Republic podcast. And that is not going to happen.
It is. It's going to happen. He's retiring. He's done. Come on, they wouldn't do all this just to get to that point.
He'll be back.
You're focusing on the wrong thing here. The actual thing should
be. This is what I believe, though, Ben. You're focusing on the wrong thing. I believe that John Cena will look back in hindsight and go, you know what? That wasn't enough for the end. And that's why I believe this isn't the end. I'm not even putting it on the WWE. I don't think it's already pre-planned. I think the plan is that it is the end. That what I'm
Fernando
not saying
you're half right.
What I'm not saying is that there's some sort of conspiracy theory. What I am saying is when John Cena looks in the mirror in 6 months, 8 months after all of this and starts thinking about it and is watching the current product and maybe has a creative idea, that he's not going to be done. And I wouldn't blame him either.
I'm more concerned, to be honest with you, about the fact it's taking him 21 days to fly from Indianapolis to get to Crown Jewel, because I mentioned the retirement match where we got numero one in the comments here. There's also nothing to build up the match of Crown Jewel either.
Could be going by boat.
Maybe.
He's taking the Jericho cruise over there.
Maybe that's how Chris Jericho returns at this point.
Okay, that was pretty good, by the way, guys. Just out of nowhere.
I agree with Cav KSK. This entire this entire retirement tour feels like
Yes.
they've only half bothered. We've got Fernando saying, "Preach, Ben, you're on fire." Thank you very much, Fernando. Cav KSK says it feels like an afterthought. I can't believe what's going on. And the Atomic Merp, shout out to you, agrees. But at you, I want to get your take. What is your
Man,
thoughts on all of this?
so you guys have to look back at the long-term storytelling, right? Washington, D.C., June 19th, 2011. John Cena had a match there. Capital Punishment, where we got to see the introduction of a character called Little Jimmy, right? R-Truth took a cup of water, threw it on a John Cena fan, and now R-Truth is John Cena's biggest hero. Well, there's one match there's one match during this retirement that has not ended in a pinfall or submission victory or anything like that, and that's the match with R-Truth. So why not come back full circle? Washington, D.C., December. What is it? December 13th?
Yeah.
Have John Cena, R-Truth, one last match. Little Jimmy comes out and helps R-Truth beat John Cena. Perfect way to go. Perfect way to go. If I was writing it, that's how I'd write it.
When you can't
Close
see
it
little
out.
Jimmy.
Close it out beautifully.
In fairness, you can't see little Jimmy.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think R-Truth is going to be in Washington or wherever that show is going to be. I think he's going to be in Boston because we might as well be because he's not going to be on that card.
I think it's got to be like Drew McIntyre at this stage.
But we're going to talk about that in the last topic. We are going to be predicting his 4 last matches. DCX Warlord saying it should be Alex Riley. Cav KSK does not want to see R-Truth. Cav KSK, in fact, thinks there is not going to be a match at Crown Jewel. Instead, it will just be an appearance, saving Roman and co., setting up War Games. I would not mind that, but here's the thing, Cav KSK. When you're already advertising it, when you're already selling tickets off John Cena's name, especially in Australia, right? I think he is going to have to appear, and I do think he's going to have to compete, because if not, I mean, I always think unless somebody's competing, if you're advertising them, I mean, you're advertising them on the presumption they are going to wrestle. That's what happens if it's a wrestling show and you're advertising somebody, especially for months in advance. I think it's a ripoff. Numero 1 says, I'm sorry, but no. Unless it's Ron Killings, I don't think it should be John versus Ron. It should be John versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship and have Sheamus retire John Cena.
Okay, so once again, I was doing a bit when I was talking, right? If Cena's last match should be a US or an Intercontinental Open Challenge, right? Cena needs to win it in probably Crown Jewel, have a couple things, have an open challenge, and then there's one person that needs to retire John Cena, and it needs to be the Ruler. The Ruler needs to come out, needs to answer the open challenge.
Yes.
And there is no way to introduce Obafemi to the main roster crowd than to have Obafemi be the Ruler, come out there with the NXT Championship belt, the same way someone else did against John Cena in Washington, D.C. Kevin Owens came out with the NXT title belt in Washington, D.C.
That was in D.C.
I was at that show.
That was in the nation's capital.
Show. So you have Obafemi come out with the NXT Championship belt for a John Cena Open Challenge, and there's no better way you introduce that man to the main roster crowd.
Remember, you got to say this twice though, because we are going to cover this in the last segment.
That is true. We're going to get onto that later.
So, like, if you feel like you rushed that one, you got a second shot at it at the end.
You've got to say the entire final 4. So there will be a bit. Kafka's case says Dirty Dom. We'll get into it later on, but I'm going to be honest. I absolutely love for it to be Obafemi, but a little bit of a spoiler for later on.